Okay. Let's see. The book's ready. Oh gosh. Alright. Well, I guess this is a good way to start. Alright. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome in, wieners, dogs, cats, humans, aliens, whoever's tuned into this little video, man. Not a broadcast today. Crazy. Very unusual video today, boys, girls, weenies, dogs, cats. Yo. Happy happy holidays, happy late holidays, yeah, happy new year. We have ourselves a special going into the new year. It's time we spread our wings a little bit. In more than one way, we've spread our wings. I've been trying to plan how to do this video for a minute. Yeah, I'm still trying to plan how to do this video in my head as in this minute. Yeah, words ain't really wording, just kind of woke up, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Like I'm feeling these books right now. Yeah, so today we're talking about the first books I've ever read in my life. Books that I've read by myself. Granted, I have read books in the past. I feel like everybody has kind of read books if you went to public school or maybe homeschooling. I don't really know. I didn't do that. But if you went to public school, sometimes the class would be assigned books like Poppy or Where the Red Fern Grows. I remember that one made me cry when we watched the movie. Yeah, there's just like all sorts of little ones that would be around that we read. And I do remember, but I didn't read it by myself. No way. We did like popcorn reading, which I remember. I never got picked. And if I got picked, I was sitting down. I was sitting down soon. But this year, I really wanted to spread my wings artistically and really see where art can lie besides just movies. All my life, all I've really cared about is movies. All I want to see is movies. And this year I watched a lot of movies. We're going to have a separate video where we go over a fat list. Hold on, let me, we can go ahead and get a little sneak preview. We have a fat list of movies I've seen in 2023, starting with the menu, flying all the way down to, oh my goodness, to I think was it Guy Ritchie's first movie, Lock, Stock, and Two Barrels of a Smoking Gun, I think it's called. That was the last movie I saw. But yeah, I watched like over 200, 300 movies. We'll go over it. I'll try to pick like a top 10 or whatever. It's really easier with books to do what I want to do, because with books, I only read, I completely read about 4 or 5. We have here some that I've started and some that I've been enjoying, some that I'm reading, and some that I finished. I definitely have some that I finished, but yeah, we're just gonna go through and definitely go through the ones we finished first and just kind of go through and say what I think. Honestly, the first one I want to go through is the first one I read, but I actually don't have with me. This book really got me into reading. I feel like it was a good way to start. It is a very short book, which is nice. I felt like that's always one thing that daunted me about books, is the length. You're talking 500 pages, my man, for some of these, which, like, you know, if it's justified, it's justified. There's like 4-hour, 5-hour movies. If it's justified, it's justified. But, you know, I'm just saying, like, for the words be hurt in my head. So I had to start with something a little shorter, something more easier for my little soft brain. So I was looking around for just books that were short, and honestly it was kind of hard. I didn't really know how to find it. But then I got into the idea of just maybe I go back to reading manga. I read a lot of manga, by the way, which we may have a list about my favorite manga I've read this year. I've read a lot of manga as well. Junji Ito I finally was introduced to. Beautiful. I know he's not a traditional novelist, but brother, we're talking in terms of writing, respect. Like, I think some mangas definitely don't get enough respect. I don't know, they get a wrong light. Like Akira, I feel like is universal. Ghost in the Shell. There's a lot of them that I don't know. I feel like people should give a shot. They have really good stories and whatnot. But in my route of finding manga, I found one by Junji Ito that I was really interested in reading, but I didn't want to read it yet because I heard that there was a book about it that was very different. Like when I first read the first panel of No Longer Human, it said refer back to Osama Daize. I'm so sorry if I butchered that, but it said refer back to his earlier rendition to have a better understanding. So I said, I'm just gonna read the whole thing, and because it was only like 150 pages or something, and I thought, hey, that ain't 300, that ain't 500, so you know, I'll give it a go. And I found myself very depressed. Enthralled is just a very emotional book. I almost said movie, but it's a really good book. Honestly, I can't think of a better way to start reading than that, for me personally. Everything I've read has been good, but just the way this is written, I felt like I was there with the guy who wrote this. Like, I just think this thing is gorgeously written. It's very dark, sad, but man, it's something that I can't get out of my head. I think it's really nice for everybody to read. I really don't have words for it. It's such a striking book. Every other book I can give you like a good little feeling of. The feeling of this one, you just have to read, because sometimes it will make you laugh, and the laughter isn't like hysterical, or like, the laughs are very I guess painful, but also not. Yeah, this is a very interesting book. A very interesting book. I talk about this almost every day since I've read it. And now we go to our second book, which I've read, The Stranger. Another shorter book. This one was actually easier to find. I went on this website called Goodreads, and I started finding short books, and people rated this like a 4.6 or whatever. By Albert Camus, The Stranger. It's a very interesting story. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought I wasn't going to like it, to be honest. I don't know why, but I just did not think I'd like this at all. But it starts off kind of dark, and then it just gets darker and darker. It's not as dark as No Longer Human. It's like a guy slowly dwindling down without his knowing. Like, he's just kind of foregrounding into just a new person. He just does some things that he doesn't even realize that he does. It's very, very strange. But I really enjoyed this one. I thought this was another good read. Only 140 pages. I mean, this is a really good starter book, in my opinion. That brings me back. The first book that I was actually getting into reading, because I heard so many people talking about this book. This was the book that made me want to start. My brother gave it to me. Apparently it's pretty popular this year or last year or something. It's a very big book. This was the book he gave me and recommended I should read as my first one. And it's probably not bad. It's probably not bad. I mean, it's just big. It's just big, and honestly the subject matter is not my favorite. Fantasy movies and fantasy in general, like, I don't know. They're not bad. Don't get me wrong. I love all art forms. I'll read about anything. I'll watch about anything. But as a first go-to, I just didn't think it was the move. So I had to find something more human, or like I don't know, not human, but oh yeah, human actually, because those fantasies are supposed to get me away from the world, and these are not real, but they're more like believable of something that could happen, and I really enjoyed that. And then we get to another book. Moving on. These transitions are so clean. I worked so hard on this video. So next we have a book I haven't finished, but a book I've read a good little bit of, maybe like 60 pages. I read this while at the library trying to draw and whatnot and write, just come up with ideas. Letters to a Young Writer. It's a nice little book, more of a self-help book, I felt like, than a writing book. There's not like a lot of techniques and like formatting or whatnot, but well, I guess that kind of makes sense by the letters. It's letters, but I kind of thought it'd be like I thought it would be letters, but just kind of like small little notes of how one would do like spacing or what they'd be watching out for, But it's more of just like almost like a therapeutic, like you're not alone. Like, even if you feel alone, every writer's been there. Every blank page is the blank page. Like, yeah, I definitely need to finish this one. It's very nice when I feel like trash about my writing or my drawings. Yeah, I just kind of look at that and I'm just like, ah, well, everybody has to start somewhere. And then we get back to a book. Oh, I forgot. Which one did I read first? I read this one first. This is the third book I've ever read. A bigger book. This one has almost, actually 300 pages. I just skipped past that. And it is a book that I feel like the name almost doesn't match, because the name is so like Shakespearean or like high authoritan, I guess. It's like the unbearable of lightness of being. It's yeah. I don't know. It just has like a sort of like historical, like top hat type vibe, but I mean it kind of doesn't help. The top hat is chilling right there. But this book I actually read and was meaning to read because I heard there was a movie with Daniel Day-Lewis. A movie with Daniel Day-Lewis in this. I don't remember when I heard that, but I heard it quite some time ago. It may even be his first movie he ever did. I'm not sure. I'm not fully sure. But, hey, Bradley, you tell me Daniel Day-Lewis in a movie. I had to read this. It was good. I had to read a book that was turned into a movie at some point, and I wanted it to be a movie that I haven't seen yet, and I still haven't seen yet. So I'm still planning to watch this, but I enjoyed this. This along with No Longer Human made me feel okay to be human. Like, it made me okay to like make mistakes, and yeah, man, just lightness. I really enjoyed this. There were some parts that I felt like were kind of long, a little extenuated, but overall I felt the story between two lovers and the dogs and whatnot. I thought this was even a part with a dog that made me cry so bad. Oh my god, I'll never forgive this book for the emotional trauma. It's even more than No Longer Human, in my opinion. There's a part with a dog that is just some bullshit. Like, it's literally like a whole 2 chapters of just a dog going to the hospital or something, and yeah, that's pretty tragic. But really good, really nice story. There's a lot of tidbits there that I kind of taken and moved into my drawings and writings. Just, they tug a lot of that lightness of being and letting go, and I think that's a very good message in a lot of aspects. Like, you can use that towards art, jobs, just like a content creation. Like, this is a lightness of being. Like, I've been stressing on this, but now, just let it go, and now the hat is flowing. And that gets us to the next book. Actually, let's go back to another book I've been reading, but I haven't finished yet, and I do plan on finishing. We have ourselves H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountain of Madness. This one is very interesting. I just have not finished it because I started watching a bunch of movies. I've been enjoying the holidays, and I feel like this is a late time book, and I always have I have a problem reading late. I will definitely get this done. Only like 150 pages, looks good. H.P. Lovecraft, he definitely has like a distinct voice. I've been saying this recently to people I've been talking about reading books. I feel like out of everybody I've read, besides the first guy with No Longer Human, H.P. Lovecraft, when he writes, it feels like I can hear him. Like, he almost has he has a very like historian dated like 1890 voice when I read it. I don't know. I imagine like BioShock tapes when I hear that. Like, I don't know. I like that. I like that. It's very nice. Very nice. I do need to finish this. It looks good. I also need to get Call of Cthulhu, which I heard is even better. But this one I like so far. Now we get back to books that I've actually read. Right? Yeah. Now we get back to the last book that I've actually read. Anxious People by Frederick Backman. Frederick Backman. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is another one kind of just like the lightness of being and No Longer Human. I think this one's just very much into the title, Anxious People. It's about a room of anxious people who are in a now gone bad bank heist. What's not to love about that? A gone bad bank heist turned into a hostage situation inside of an apartment viewing. The characters here are something. They are so funny. They're so forgivable. I think forgivable is a good word, because there's some moments where someone like Zara can be off the hinge, but someone like Roger can go off the limb a little bit, but all of it kind of adds up to the title, Anxious People. I think this one's so much fun. I think this one was I think No Longer Human, I love that book. I think that was so good. I want to reread it. Yeah, it's just so much to think on. It was amazing. Maybe it's just because my first book, I don't know, let me know if there's a thing with first books that like when you read it, you're like that was your key in, so now you're just hooked. Like, I remember in movies, it wasn't my first movie, but The Mummy, like, I spam that to this day. To this day, man. So like, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things. But yeah, those are basically all 5. I think that's 5. It's like 4.5. maybe, counting the half ones or whatever. But those are like all the books I've read, and a little bit of this one I've actually read. I started reading a little bit of Beautiful Boy, which is actually another movie that I've seen around but I haven't watched, with Steve Carell and the Chalamet. Looks very interesting. But before I read that one, I heard that this was the first book series that's gonna get me into, well, series. I had to read this one first. I've heard Tweak. I'm not sure, so I guess I gotta redo the order. Oh wait, I forgot I even read this. This is a little bit of a big one, I guess. This one, yeah, I don't even know how to explain this one. I'm sure everybody's had to read these at some point. I remember reading some in high school, but I don't remember what we read. It's Edgar Allan Poe. I have read a couple of these, a couple poems. Yeah, I get I get why people talk about this guy. Very interesting literature, and the way it changes throughout. It's like, yeah, no, this very very interesting literature. But I think in terms of books, that's about all I've read. Actually, there's another one, which may be truly my first book if you count it, but I didn't finish it. Is Cinema Speculation by Quentin Tarantino. I did read some of that, and I did find myself enjoying it. The only problem was Quentin was talking about movies that I hadn't watched yet. And now I've seen them, so I kind of need to go reread that. But I'm so lost in tons of movies and tons of books, man. I don't, it's so hard to keep up, but I've been having so much fun reading these and coming back. Ooh, another book. Okay, another book we can give a shout out to. One of my favorite movies, one of my favorite scripts, one of my favorite directors, and like, bro, Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. Oh my god, this book has opened my eyes on like storyboarding and storytelling on another level. I think Parasite in general, the movie, is, the script is a forever changing piece of cinematic that has come out recently. I think it's so ridiculous. In this book, I've read 3 times already, and I'm planning to read it a 4th time. I just love this. I love how he was not afraid to release a book that gave away a lot of answers to filmmaking and to his film. Like, this breaks down Parasite to where it's maybe unwatchable for somebody, but I find it much more enthralling just knowing how this beautiful movie was made. I think this one's a lot of fun. Another one I read the introduction to, actually I forgot, I read the introduction to this, Dracula. Very big book. I gave up once I saw how big this was because I wanted to move on to Anxious People, actually. I wanted to read that. So I read that. I think, honestly, that concludes all my books. I think we've done it. I think this has been Pink's picks of 2023 for books, or Pink's first books, or Pink's entrance to the world of literature. I don't know, some crazy title that we still have to come up with. I'm not really sure, but I'm glad I got to come through and talk about some books for a little bit. It's been truly eye-opening to get my hands and eyes on literature. It's always been around, and yeah, I don't know, it's never been my thing. And I'll be honest, in terms of art, in terms of whatever else is out there, drawings, movies, scripts, like we're talking like storyboards, I would rather read all of those. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather read, I'd rather watch, I'd rather look, I'd rather dissect all of those. But I've found an appreciation and a home in my heart for books. I truly understand how people can get addicted. I mean, brother, look at this desk. I mean, we got all sorts of books. We got Killers of the Flower Moon, American Prometheus, which I loved. Oppenheimer. Actually watched that. Want to read the book. All sorts of books. Ghost in the Shell over there. Kaiju number 8. Drifting Classroom. Yeah, man. Bunch of movies everywhere. Even some more books in here. Like, yeah, man. I've just been going crazy, just trying to figure out how to let my artistic abilities kind of free flow without just streaming and without just drawing. Like, I want to move everything into like a fashion to where maybe cinematically, perhaps, maybe one day we'll find out. We'll see what the future holds. But anyways, wieners, thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. I do plan to have more videos like this one, where it's like top 5, top 10 picks of the year. Out of all of them, besides the books, I feel like it's going to be hard. Like music, I don't even know where to start. Like, I listen to music everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, music's another art I'd pick before reading, just FYI. But not hating on reading. I'm just saying what it is for me, you know? I'm just trying to let you know. But yeah, man. Yeah. We'll try to figure out where we want to go. I definitely want to do movies somehow. I feel like that one might be the hardest. No, music is way harder. Cause music I just like background, and I'll pick a random album, or I'll pick Discover Weekly or Friday Release Radar. Just listen to some random sounds, or like Wes Anderson type music, Quentin Tarantino. You know, like I'll just kind of make daily tracks of them. But that's besides the point. I'm just saying that I'll try to figure out these video ideas, and hopefully we can get them to you before the new year or in the new year. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your holidays and your time with your family, if you're spending time with your family. And if not, I hope you're just having a good day, a good life. And yeah, man, I hope things get better if not. And I hope things, you know, get great. Yeah. Anyways, thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to stop by the Twitch stream sometime. We're always hanging out, doing some dumb stuff, chilling, playing games with the boys, just hanging out solo dolo. But yeah, thank you very much, wieners. Be back soon.